last episode, we started from scratch, with nothing but the empty, tiny factory from Carota's failed scooter company. We made a last-ditch effort and took out a loan to sell cars. Now we've made the Coniglio, and it's selling like hotcakes. Our teeny tiny factory can't keep up, so in this episode we'll be expanding our operation and hopefully expanding the variety of cars we sell. The only input from our lovely board of directors was to try adding more trims, at least something like a wagon or van, and we're going to see what we can do. But first off, I forgot about a major feature that's in the new version of the game. We can kind of see how far we've come and compare to our competitors with the new Sankey chart. So we can sort by demographic and activate and deactivate countries. So we can see in this case, we can't export to Gazmir or Canada. They're grayed out. Deluha doesn't have any city buyers. So we can see all of the sales coming down from Hitvasia and Farunia to the different companies. So the current leader in our home country, Farunia, is certainly not us. It's Family Small 3 Farunia. That's to say they make small family cars. They're a middle-sized company. This is a number from 1 to 6. And they're based in Farunia. You can also see by the flag. And their leading car is City Premium Model City Eco Trim, which is, technically that counts as a hatchback, but it's a giant long-nosed Jaguar-looking thing, apparently, is the most popular city car in Farunia right now. How are their stats looking? 48 drivability, 20 comfort, 45 practicality. It must have rear seats, I think, based on that. 59 reliability. We can compare that to ourselves. Just have to scroll way down in the list of companies. Here's us with only 22 sales in the city market. The Coniglio Primo B has 44 drivability, so it's apparently more awkward to drive than that little Jaguar-looking thing. 22 comfort. This is actually more comfortable. 49 practicality. We're winning on practicality. 53 reliability. We are not winning on reliability. We're a little subpar in that regard. So that's where we stand against our competition. And we can just see all the different kinds of cars and their stats that are being sold against us right now, which I think is pretty cool. What's our strongest market? Monthly sales data. It is city, actually. With 24 sales, that's our strongest single market. I forgot how tiny numbers were moving of these cars. Hopefully that's due to change, though. We're basically not keeping up with our pre-orders. We can see we have 5 months worth of pre-orders. I'm going to actually increase our factory. We're going to add half a shift, so we're going to start running it at night. And that's gonna do a lot more wear and tear on our factory tools, but it is what it is. And we should probably just go ahead. We haven't unlocked front-wheel drive yet, but I'm not sure that our engine would fit either way, because it would be longitudinal front-wheel drive, not transverse like what's normal. We'll see what we can change on the Coniglio. The biggest change is going to be the factory, not the car. So new facelift, the C version. There's going to be a Primo, there's going to be a Merde, and once I make the changes to those, I'll clone one and see if we have any new body types we should be working with. In the tiny factory, I don't want to do more than 2, but in the small factory, 3 might make sense. And we also need to replace our engine. This will be the 3rd version of the Maratona. Our, what is it? 1.4 almost liter 4-cylinder single overhead cam. All right, so changes I'm making. We're going from lightweight to medium weight con rods and pistons, and that will allow us to reduce our manufacturing quality. It's going to save us, let me compare here. Yeah, more than a full man hour for every engine, and it's not going to hurt our reliability at all. And we're increasing the quality of the fuel system and the exhaust, and we're switching to more modern reverse flow mufflers. So it's going to be a lot quieter. Overall, that should make our engine slightly more reliable and slightly more fuel efficient and a little cheaper. Actually compare the stat change overall. Yes, we get 2 points of reliability, making more power, more fuel efficiency. We have gained, I guess those exhaust bits add some man hours of production, but oh well. We still have that goofy trade-off where I could make the first gear silly long. It would give me a dumb amount of drivability. It's kind of cheesy. But we're not going to do that. We're going to compromise. It gives us better gas mileage of a bit shorter for some reason, too. And we did switch to 3 speeds already. So that should be a little more drivable compared to the Beam NG gameplay you saw before, where I hit second gear and it just can't accelerate. Yeah, overall, almost no changes to the Coniglio Primo, our main version. But the Merde is getting an upgrade. I've realized that we now have standard radios unlocked. You start unlocking the luxury radio, and then it works its way down. You gotta race to the bottom, the stuff becomes more common. So we can offer our cheaper car with a radio as well. And once again, the rest stays pretty much the same. Now let's see, what do we have for variants here? We could do a convertible. We could do a sedan. A wagon is on the list of what was suggested to try. And a pickup and van are also available to us. Now I always feel a little cheesy, honestly, making the pickups and vans, because the AI, I think still now, is barely competing in these categories, so it's kind of just printing money. Maybe that's changed a little bit. But I also feel like what would synergize best with our brand would be a wagon. This can be a bit more of a family car, whereas the other ones for small commuting stuff. We just make a little tweak to those hinges so they go where they belong. And let's move the handle up. License plate goes onto the tailgate. And I think that's our wagon. I'll pick out a new paint color too. There, lovely cream color. Kind of reminds me of the older Mercedes-Benz. I think that'll do for our family wagon. And let's see. I think I can have the same gearing. Automatic transmissions are available to us, but they're not going to help our fuel economy or sportiness. Fruinia likes manual transmissions. We'll stick to manuals for now. It's like the handling and suspension's pretty on point already. Didn't change your weight too much. We can't actually fit more seats. I think I will keep this one with the premium interior. So we have a Primo, a Merde, and just a Primo wagon. All that's only going to take us 10 months. Let's see, if I get the reliability and tooling back up to baseline, because that's stuff we compromised on before, I think we can afford to do that. This will also help us catch up with our competition in terms of reliability. That's going to be important for our company's reputation, which gives a bonus to our desirability. So many similar terms. But basically, people will want to buy our cars more for multiple reasons if we keep that slider up. Now, the engine looks like changing up the exhaust so much is going to take a long time. Now, let's see. We had the car at 16 months? Yes. So, we're going to put a little more money into this. Upping your funding is expensive. The engine will not be as reliable because we're in a rush to get developed with that new exhaust going on there. Oh well. And engine factory, still very expensive. Let me see exactly how much, in fact. If I wanted to build a small engine factory with an iron foundry, yeah, $46 million. I'm not even going to look. I'm sure we can't get that loan. So we're still to make the engines in a contract factory, as to say, someone else's factory, at a high premium per engine, but no upfront cost. Now the car factory sits on a small plot of land. Just look at our teeny tiny little factory. It actually looks a little silly being out in a vast green nothingness. We can picture this a lot better inside of a city. But, boom! We're going to take out some loan money and build a much bigger factory. Small one, I think, is probably on track for right now. We're going from, yes, 50 cars per month to 300 cars per month. Definitely going to keep the maximum shifts down to only 2. Target 1.5, 1. You can see that even a small factory, we're losing. So we have 86% efficiency with 1 trim, 83% with 2 trims. That's hardly bad at all. Adding that 3rd trim cuts our efficiency by a lot. But it's not great for our costs, but I think we're going to make, too many cars anyway. So I'm not terribly worried about that. And at our current hiring standards, it will take us a long time to hire up to 2.5 shifts. But I'm just going to be okay with that. Because again, I think we're going to get ahead of our marketing. After a quick moment to play with the sliders, I don't think we save a lot of money by reducing our automation. And there's not really any more to be gained from increasing it either. So it's going to say right at 90 where it is. And we can still easily afford 100 tooling quality. That's a nice thing about working in small factories without the big add-ons like steel presses, is we can afford to get the best stuff. That's going to give us a low chance of having a problem we have to recall cars for. It'll give us a good build quality bonus. The forecasts are suggesting we should keep our prices up. Something like our old pricing scheme of $12,000 for the Primo and $10,000 for the Meride seems pretty on point. In fact, supposedly, we make even more money if we add $500. We should keep the Meride cheap. That's what the total profit amounts are telling me anyway. So if I increase the price on the Meride, it's not good. So there, $12,500 for the Primos, whether it's the hatchback or the wagon, and $10,000 for the Meride, with the less nice interior and radio. 16 months to develop. Yeah, let's sign it off. Total project cost will be $14 million, so we will need a loan. I guess the engineering's starting to add up. It's about $8 million worth of engineering and then a similar amount of factory cost. Once again, I would set the payback time for the loan very long, so it doesn't surprise me, the high payoff amount. Our little car factory 1 is working overtime to pay off our pre-orders, or to deliver on our pre-orders, I should say. Yeah, we're still have to pay back some pre-orders though once we start constructing the new factory, because we will not be able to fill them all fact, they're starting to pile up, which is definitely a sign that it's time for us to expand to that larger factory at least, so we're doing everything something right. Money is flowing in. I'm going to take a head start to dedicate some cash towards research and development. Fuel system is a big factor for reliability and fuel efficiency in our engines, so I'll put 1 point in there. It's expensive, of course. Interior, that's also expensive to research, but it saves us a lot of money on building the cars, because that's expensive to put in the car. And 1 in safety. So we're spending $160,000 on R&D for our first little dip into the world of research and development, which can get very expensive. Hopefully that little dip isn't too expensive for us. Big financial drop for a minute there as we are entering factory production. And as we open up with the C version of the Coniglio, yes, we are raking in the dough now. Profit of $1 million a month. That's very good for us. Yeah, I can spend. Where else do I want a point of R&D? Maybe into chassis and body. That'll be valuable to us if we develop an entirely new car, which we'll want to do at some point. Ooh, we're about to unlock 2 leading shoe drum brakes, which will be slightly less awful. And how is our paradors? Are they going up or down? They're going down, but very slowly. I think once again I'm going to add some shifts to our factory, keep lots of people hired. And even though we've just made the C version in 1950 and 52, we're going to make the D version. I don't think it's time for a new car model yet, but we will just very quickly make some changes. And it's going to be mostly changes to those engineering sliders, because we have the time now. It looks like I didn't actually put the quality down like I meant to. I was comparing engines and I just left it at 0. Oops. So we'll take that down, save a couple man hours. We can go on some real mild cams and lose just a tiny bit of horsepower in exchange for fuel efficiency. Although we might want to open up the exhaust a little bit. Changing our muffler type has made that a little cramped. Get a tiny bit of that power back. Yes, the new brakes. We'll have to make sure to add those to every version of our car, all 3 versions. What else is cheap to put quality into is our steering rack, which is a manual steering rack. We'll try and get these all to +2. Yet another new campaign feature that I haven't mentioned very much, or looked at all. Oh, this isn't quite working properly. I'm supposed to see the names of the markets here, so we've got a little bit of bugginess. So we can see the pie charts of how each trim is going to sell to different markets, which tells us that the overlap is a lot. So the wagon, must be family utility here. It does perform better in family utility than the other trims. But like those were selling a bit there too, even though they prefer the wagon shape. The other cars were close enough that they were buying them sometimes. So I'm not sure how much adding the wagon has actually gained for us. This over here, I think, is passenger fleet. It's almost perfectly divided between the 3. It's taxi use. This must be city premium. I feel a little stupid trying to look at this blank chart. Maybe it'll pop up later. But yeah, that's useful for gauging which trim's going to sell where, and if a new trim's adding a new market to us or not. Now let's see, looking at 8 months just to get it done. If I do it in 12, I can get some more tooling and a little more reliability. Same story for the engine. We're getting our tooling and reliability up. So cheaper, more of them. Now let's reach for the stars. Can we get an engine factory built now? And that's really up to the bank. I'm not going to configure this. I'll come back to it if I think I can actually afford it. Since we have an engine factory, we're not building these engines on contract, the cars have got way cheaper, which is why we can bring our costs down by like $1,000 for either one and still make a lot more margins. However, our maximum loan coverage would be 56%. That is a polite way of saying that we cannot afford to buy that engine factory right now. So we will take it off the project. I am still going to expand the car factory. This should lose us some money, which will keep the tax man off our back for a year. And while I'm at it, marketing. We now have $500,000 coming in net, so we can afford. Let's see. Yeah, put comfort. What's our top priorities? Drivability, comfort, footprint size, practicality, reliability. Reliability for sure. Looks like Helvetia, as a bigger country, I think, is a little more expensive to market in. But hopefully that'll be worth it for us. And losing money, losing big money as we expand our factory. Whew. Just squeaked out of that, and we are not bankrupt. Yay. I'm going to reduce our shifts. Now in 1953, we still have a lot of pre-orders, but they're all for the Mare Day. We're up to making some stock on the Primos, which are less in demand and more expensive. In fact, we can see that our desirability has fallen by a lot because our car is old. It's starting to have been around for, let's see, the first one came out in 1947, so it's 6 years old. In terms of features coming up, in more than a year still, we're looking at some tires and suspension improvements. The fact that our cars aren't considered that desirable has not stopped us from making lots of money, though. Let's see how our sales have grown. We've gone from, at the start of this gameplay session, like 20 sales in City to over 100. That's every month between our two main countries here. We also have access to Deluha. I don't know if they're going to actually want to buy our cars or not. I might as well do a little marketing. Have we sold a single car, Deluha? Yes, we are starting to sell a few cars. Despite having done no marketing, someone's deciding to import like 10 cars a month as cheap family cars in Deluha, which is the kind of wealthy oil baron country. They're mostly like giant, expensive cars. They have a lot of poorer consumers as well. It looks like now the best-selling city car is from Gazmia. We can't sell cars into Gazmia, but they can sell cars here, apparently, in 1954. I'm not actually sure if that's right. Maybe that's right. But we haven't got the ability to sell to them yet. So there's some, Gazmia is kind of like America. There's some American cars coming in. Never mind. It looks like our main competitor is still Family Small 3 Fruinia. And they're still selling that same car. In fact, a 1951 trim of it. Their affordability is 67%. Ours is 37%. So they're a lot cheaper. That's probably a main factor in why they're selling a lot better than us. Is our little hand-built aluminum cars are still expensive. I'm just going to hang on a little bit. I think we'll keep making money up until we have radial tires unlocked. And I'll see if I haven't got enough savings by then to build us an engine factory and bring the price of our cars way down. This will probably be the last update to the Coniglio. It's getting a little long in the tooth. Version E of our engine. Let's see what changes I can make here. Pretty much going to leave that right where it is, just with the tiny incremental bonuses from year over year. It gains a little in every stat. For cars, do they want 4 speeds. Let's find out. If I just add a 4th speed, they do like it. I gain a lot of drivability. I also lose fuel economy somehow by adding that speed. I'm not sure entirely how that happens. Get it back with a shorter first gear, which would make logical sense, although it also somehow becomes harder to drive. I guess that's the gearing graph we're going with. I'll have to, again, replicate that over every single trim. Oh boy. My favorite part. Interior, let's squeeze another quality point in there. I think we're going to have to be charging him enough anyway. We've got some tech pool in, so we get a little price discount on this quality slider. Progressive springs. Oh, I forgot. We have, yes, radial tires. We get to go lower profile. Like a little more like modern wheels. I'm not probably going to go wider, though. Oh, wow, that gained us like 2 miles a gallon. They drive better. They feel better. Radial tires are a big upgrade for us. And progressive springs. They're just, they're less sporty, but they're better than every other way. They have unequal spring rate through the length of the spring, so the top of it's coiled real tight and the bottom's coiled loose. And it makes soft bumps soft, but then it's stronger when it needs to be. Now to replicate that over 2 other variants. The wagon benefits from those progressive springs in particular. It increases our load capacity, which family utility buyers care about. Now again, the main goal of this facelift is going to be to buy an engine factory. So we will close the contract factory and build ourselves an engine factory where we will hire some decent workers at slightly below average wages and spend a couple $1,000,000 to increase the tooling quality. In fact, I'll put an upgrade to small 3 in here if we can get the loan. We will get the biggest factory that we can fit on our little plot of land. We'll have to buy more land. We'll have to have a separate factory. As we hire more workers, we have to compromise a little bit on worker quality. And this will let us drastically increase the prices of our cars. Yeah, price forecaster tells me this is good. The Meride will be $7,000, down from like $10,000, and the Primo will be $9,000, down from $12,000. That brings us closer to our dream of making a cheap, shitty car that's fun and fashionable for everyone. But not all the way there yet, because we're still building them out of aluminum, which still drives the price up a lot. With the money we're getting, I also want to spend more on marketing. That's not very exciting. I'm just putting some bits in. Oh yeah, Deluha marketing is so freaking cheap because there's a small country. I can crank my footprint minus all the way to 10. Actually, that varies with the demographic size because they have no city demographic. That's why it's so cheap. There, that's more like it. Our marketing budget has grown to over $1 million. And R&D, where's that in here? We're barely spending anything on. We can spend a little more on R&D, I think. Let's put a bottom end on for 2. That saves a lot of production units on the engine. And another level of interior and safety and fuel system. And exhaust. That should do. Uh-oh. Game crashed. Yes, the game crashed, but we are so back. looks like pre-orders are stacking up. We've sold all of our last generation cars. And the newer, cheaper cars, oh my gosh, we are pre-ordered like a year out. It's gone insane. And yet we're losing money somehow. Yes, we are. Where are we losing money on? It must be mostly the fact that we have a lot of loans to pay back. I guess we have cash on hand that's going to float us. But that's pretty rough. And pre-orders are just stacking up. We have, so our desirability is considered low, but I think that's mostly because of this delivery delay penalty, which is the fact that it's going to take them a year to actually get their car after they pre-order it. Is that just going to keep going up? Yeah. That used to be bugged, so you'd get pre-orders like crazy. I don't know if that bug's back, or if our car is just so freaking desirable now that it's cheaper. On both counts that we are, 1, losing money, and 2, not able to fill our pre-orders, I'm going to increase the price by $2,000 for every car. Sorry, everybody. That puts our finances in the green, and our pre-orders are slowly starting to come under control. Very slowly. And this leaves us, what's going to run us to the year of 1958. So we now own the biggest factory you can build on a small plot of land. And we own an engine factory as well. So it's a massive growth for Carota. I might have us drive this Primo wagon, which is incidentally a good suggestion, board of directors. Our highest selling trim now is the wagon. Go figure. Where are we selling in most? Looks like city is still our main demographic, but family is a close second. In the family market, sure enough, yes, the wagon is leading. And surprisingly, in the city market, the wagon is leading. I don't know how it's selling more than the hatchback, considering that city buyers expressly like hatchbacks. But that's what's happening. Apparently it's cheaper. Why is it cheaper? I made it the same price. It's more affordable. So either it's getting better gas mileage that I didn't realize, or it has lower maintenance costs. Something weird's happening that makes the wagon cheaper to own, not to buy. Or... dealership margin. For whatever reason, the dealerships are charging $13,000 for the Coniglio Primo, but only $12,200 customer price for the Primo wagon. So the dealerships decided that it was less in demand, I guess, which has led it to it being more in demand. That's strange, but whatever. As long as we're selling cars, I guess that I am happy. Our engine factory is overworked. It's running more than 2 shifts, but not terribly overworked. So probably for next time, we might think about making a new model. It's been more than 10 years since we designed our first model, so we'll get a lot of stat bonuses just out of it being newer. And here's a quick look at the buys available to us. Focusing... I'll show you everything I have downloaded, because I downloaded a super amount of mods. But more reasonable stuff. We could build a people mover. We have access to some SUVs. We have larger sedans and wagons and hatchbacks. We have this, very teeny tiny 2.0 meter hatchback. That's a good option for a new car. We could go the way the other company is doing and make a Jaguar body wagon and hatchback. That one doesn't have a hatchback. Coupe. We do have the money to develop a sports car separately if we wanted to in its own factory, if it shared an engine variant. So just here's a quick idea. of the bodies that are available to us. You can shout out in the comments if you see one you really like. So in my opinion, we should probably replace the Coniglio with a similar model. So you can vote if you like on what body we should use, what we should call it. We could also add a new model in another factory. I think we'd have to share our engine. But, you know, that is what it is. And before we go, let's take a quick drive of our new and improved Primo wagon. The new Coniglio Primo wagon. Now 10 years newer, quieter exhaust, theoretically, more power, marginally, better gas mileage, sagging on the rear suspension with its heavy tailgate, and we have 4 speeds, so in theory, it should be easier to get up to speed. We'll find that out. Same great handling as ever. See, this is the exact kind of roads where you wouldn't want to have a gigantic boat. That's what Carota specializes in. Tiny cars for tiny little cities. It's fast going downhill, that's for sure. Yes, compared to the hapless buyers of the original Coniglio Primo, you can now comfortably accelerate well past 40 miles an hour without being in the car's top gear. Let's see, does it go uphill too? Ooh, first gear, we made first gear very long. Yeah, this is still a first gear hill for this car. Alright. Highway speed test. I wouldn't call it fast, but we do reach 60 miles an hour in an acceptable amount of time. And it's stable enough at this speed. Our top speed of 70 is yes, we can only exceed it while going downhill. As it levels out, we slow back down. So the BeamNG speed graph seems pretty accurate. Now it's flat out, but yeah, you can commute at 75 in this car. Basically keep up with modern traffic. Almost, kinda, sorta. For 1957, it's really not bad.